the choices when it comes to mutual funds? You are not alone. With so many options, it'd be confusing to figure out which one is right for you. But what if I told you that there are some key numbers that can guide your decision? Today, we're diving deep into mutual fund selection using important ratios like the Sharpe ratio, standard deviation, beta, expense ratio, alpha, and information ratio. These ratios can help you understand the performance, risk, and cost of a fund. So stick around if you want to become a smarter investor. Main content. Let's start with the Sharpe ratio. This ratio helps you understand how much return you're getting for each unit of risk. It's calculated by subtracting the risk-free rate from the fund's return and then dividing that by the fund's standard deviation. A higher Sharpe ratio is better. It means you're getting more return for the same amount of risk. For example, if you have two mutual funds, Fund A with a Sharpe ratio of 1.2 and Fund B with a Sharpe ratio of 0.8, Fund A is the better option because it gives you more return per unit of risk. Next up is standard deviation. This is a measure of how much the fund's returns can vary. The higher the standard deviation, the more uncertain the returns are. For instance, Fund C might have a standard deviation of 5%, while Fund D has 15%. If you're someone who prefers stability in your investments, you might lean toward Fund C. But if you're okay with fluctuations in exchange for higher potential returns, Fund D could be a fit for you. Now let's talk about beta. This ratio measures the volatility of the fund compared to the market. A beta of 1 means the fund moves with the market, a beta less than 1 means it's less volatile, and a beta greater than 1 means it's more volatile. So if a fund has a beta of 1.5, it's expected to be 50% more volatile than the market. Keep in mind that if you're looking for more stable investments, a lower beta is typically what you want. Moving on to the expense ratio. This represents the cost of owning the fund, expressed as a percentage of the total assets. For example, if a fund has a 1% expense ratio, you'll pay $1 a year for every $100 you invest. Make sure to look for funds with lower expense ratios, as high fees can eat into your returns over time. Next is the alpha. This measures the fund's performance compared to a benchmark index. A positive alpha means the fund has outperformed its benchmark, while a negative alpha indicates underperformance. Let's say Fund A has an alpha of 2. This means it has outperformed its benchmark by 2%. This information can help you find funds that are managed effectively. Finally, we have the information ratio. This ratio measures a fund's returns relative to the amount of risk taken. It's similar to the Sharpe ratio but looks at excess returns compared to a benchmark. A higher information ratio indicates the manager is providing returns above the benchmark per unit of risk taken. To summarize, here's a quick recap. The Sharpe ratio tells you how much return you're getting for risk. Standard deviation gives you an idea of the fund's return variations. Beta tells you how the fund responds to market changes. The expense ratio shows how much you'll pay in fees. Alpha shows how well the fund performs compared to its benchmark. The information ratio shows if the fund manager is adding value. Now, after understanding all these ratios, what's next? Start by reviewing the funds you have or are interested in and gather these ratios. You can usually find these on financial websites or fund fact sheets. When comparing funds, don't just look at one ratio, consider all of them together for a complete picture. And remember, investing isn't just about numbers, it's also about your goals and risk tolerance. So think about what fits your financial situation best before making a decision. As we wrap up, if you found this information useful, please hit that like button and share this video with anyone who might benefit from it. Have you used any of these ratios before? What's your investment strategy? Investing in mutual funds can be made easier if you know how to analyze them.